Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and knife lovers everywhere around the world. Take a look at this. This is my Emerson CQC-7, a classic Emerson Tanto design. This knife I acquired recently from Blade Forums, and or from a user on Blade Forums, and I've really fallen for it. And since I got it, it has become one of my favorite EDCs. Despite what I always thought was kind of a chunky, clunky design. It's thick, it's very thick, and I've always preferred Tantos with belly, kind of like the Voyager, the Cold Steel Voyager Tantos. And this, of course, has a very straight edge, two very straight edges, and then the belly is on the top, sort of downward sweep. And the swedge, yet again, in this case, rescued this knife for me. I just love that top swedge. I'm not sure what function it really performs other than looking really cool. Maybe, I guess, it lightens the blade a hair. But one thing that always drove me nuts about the CQC-7 and subsequent cold steel knives is the chisel grind. I always thought that flat face looked, I don't know, I never liked it until I started, until I had them in hand. I guess I had the P-Sark first, and that has also a cool swedge on this one, but that also has a full chisel grind blade where the back is just flat, and it's really begun to grow on me and become appealing to me. And I find this to be incredibly appealing, that stonewash finish on this side, on this totally flat side, and then the stonewash here, and then the satin, and the grind lines here, and how the steep angle that a chisel grind affords the presentation side of the blade is just, I don't know, very appealing to me. This knife is super sharp, and I've been able to put a nice edge on it because I have dulled it a little bit, because when I first got it I was carrying it around and using any excuse. I actually tried to cut what I thought was a zip tie and ended up being a piece of wire. Right there you can see a little nick. Made me bristle for a quick moment, and then I was like, wait a second, this is a hard use knife. I shouldn't be such a pussy about it. And never looked back, though I have tried to grind it out a little bit. I'm not an expert sharpener, but I'm getting better. So this knife is a 154 cm blade. It's 3 1/4 inch long. You've got the thumb ramp / wave opening feature, which not all CQC-7s have. You've got the thumb button, which makes it somewhat ambidextrous, though it doesn't have an access cutout on this side. So doing it left hand, you kind of have to use your forefinger to use that button. You've got your standard slotted screwdriver pivot and your Phillips screwdriver body screws here, and a really nicely shaped handle. For something that's kind of blocky and squared off on the top, this is really nice. It just fits in your hand perfectly. And when I hold it, I find my forefinger kind of takes the shortcut through that little cutout, that little lock cutout, and I find no compromise. No matter how hard I grip it or twist it, I'm not actuating that lock, which is, these are titanium, pretty beefy titanium liners with nice lockup, early, as they say. Got your lanyard hole, and this is a 2013 model, so you have this nice fully open construction with 4 beautiful standoffs. I really like the standoff design. You've got the classic Parkerized clip that Emerson rocks. I love that. It's just so simple, so beautiful, and very low profile. It's not even shiny black. I mean, you put this in your pocket. I wear sometimes black jeans or dark blue jeans, and this just melts right in visually, which is something I prefer. I like having the knife accessible in my front pocket. but I don't necessarily like to advertise too much. The G10 is quite grippy, but not destructively so. I haven't had any sort of cold steel G10 problems. I prefer grippy to not grippy. You can always sand it down under the clip if you need to. Fits great in reverse grip. You can cap the top with your thumb very easily without any hot spots there. And this thing is just stout-hearted and solid. I mean, it's rock. It's like a solid rock. You got the full width of the blade, which I believe is an 1/8 of an inch, to almost all the way to the tip. So I mean, you could plunge this into something very hard. This could make it through some tough material, I have no doubt about it. The previous owner tried to take off the lettering. I tried to sterilize the blade, I'm assuming. Maybe use that aircraft stripper that you use to strip blades, but didn't quite commit, or maybe realized that the lettering was on there in a different fashion than those sort of wing shapes that make up the Emerson logo, and sort of just gave up. So it's kind of half there, half not. You can see it better from this parallax view, actually. Let's do a little comparison size-wise. Let's see, I'll put that in the middle. Here's a classic EDC Spyderco Tenacious. Love that knife. Let's see. Here it is next to a Commander. I realize from this angle it's things are becoming foreshortened as we head this way, but this is, I'm pretty much looking down, so it's not too much of a distortion. Here it is next to a Mini Griptilian by Benchmade. A knife I thought I would never want, and then got it at REI, and man, I love it. I love that little knife. One more comparison. Here it is next to a Horseman. They're close to the same. Horseman's a little bigger in blade size, blade length, but there it is. Emerson CQC-7, the classic.